Well, good morning. What an exciting morning it is for me because I wanted to share with you my new mobile base camp. I bought it as a commercial van 6 months ago now. It's a Peugeot Boxer Professional, 6 metre length. And I've had it lovingly converted, brilliantly converted, by Darren and Terry at Affordable Van Conversions, which is fairly close to me. And they've done a brilliant job. And I'm so excited because this gives me such potential for the future years to be able to explore the UK, to be able to still do my wild camping and trekking, even more actually, and but also be able to use it to come back, use it for filming, editing, and obviously for camping out in when the weather is really rubbish, which in the UK it can be sometimes. And although I don't mind getting wet and cold, it's kind of nice to have somewhere to be able to sort of recover in. Anyway, what I'd like to do obviously is show you inside. It's extremely unbushcrafty, as you'll see. It's my moment of luxury. And so as I say, come on in and I'll show you around. And I'll try not to bore you with all the specs, but I'll give you a bit of kind of info which might be interesting. Right, come in then. Oh. Right, first thing to do is to take my gloves and coat off. I've had the heating on here, which I'll talk about in a bit. It's extremely hot. Check it over there for now. Right, so here we are in the van. First of all, I will give you a quick run around and then just throw in some specs if you're interested. Okay, so in terms of the living space, well, like with loads of other motorhomes, the two front seats swivel around really easily, and that gives me loads of space here just to sit and chill, or maybe do some wildlife spotting from the comfort of my chair, which is great. And occasionally at night time, yes, I can sit and watch TV, which I've got installed. And there's also room for Sky to sit in this area. She can sit either behind the driver's seat or she can sit in between the seats. However, when we're parked up at night, her most preferred place is on my bed. The bed, by the way, is in terms of length and width. The width of it is 4'6" and the length is just about 6 foot. Behind the bench seats, I've got a really neat table stored, and I bring this out when I need it, which is for eating or looking at maps, whatever. It's really easy to put up, and I can also leave it up when I'm driving, as it doesn't really rattle or move around, which is a sort of bonus, I think. I've also got another work surface attached to the end of the kitchen, which can act as a table for the passenger seat or for the extra surface when I'm doing food prep, because the sort of food prep area is quite small here. So that's handy. So now we come on to the kitchen. It's amazing actually in this size van how they've managed to fit a full-size gas cooker in here, which is kind of funny because I'm not a great cook, but it's kind of nice to have it for those occasions when it's absolutely chucking it down and I can't get a fire going outside, or there's just not the right location to have an open fire. And so I can come in here and I can have a bit of a roast of whatever I fancy. Anyway, as I said, it's got 4 gas rings here. I keep these are silicone trivets, which are really handy. I keep them here to stop these bits of metal rattling when I'm driving along. Underneath here I've got a grill and an oven. And again, I've got tea cloths in there to stop it from rattling. And then underneath I've got where I keep my saucepans. So yeah, it's really kind of luxurious bit of cooking, really. Put these back. Then I've got my kettle, which is a nice. Actually, I need to point this out. This is really cool. This is you know that I've got a jet boil, and it has a special heat element at the bottom, which makes it boil faster. Anyway, this is I bought this the other day. This has got the same principle, and it does boil water really quick. Anyway, here we have the sink, which is a decent size. So big enough to do my washing up. And then to the right of it, we have the fridge, which is looking decidedly empty at the moment, but it will be filled. And this is a electric fridge. And then above it, I've got a big storage cupboard. Just got my coat in at the moment, which is really huge. It's pretty much the same size as the fridge. I've got a big cupboard above the sink and oven, which has got my brew kit in, my much needed coffee. And under the sink I've got a drawer where I can keep all my utensils, and under that I've got another cupboard which again I can put for food storage. I've also, above the table in the kind of sitting area, I've got a decent sized cupboard, and that's got all my food in. And then I've also got a sort of space above the cab area, which obviously was part of the original van, which is big. I've got all my maps in there, and Sky's food, water, lots of bits and bobs in there. And then under the back bench seats, I've also got a sort of a boot locker, or somewhere to keep my shoes. Then in the back, on either side of the bed, I've got two, again, decent sized cupboards to put all my clothes. I haven't really, as you can tell, I've only had this van for a short time, so I haven't really filled up the space yet, but it will get filled. And then also finally, storage wise, in the back I've got a good space which is kind of called the garage. You access it via the back doors, and it's actually fab, that bit, because for me, with all my bushcraft kit, my camping kit, all my kind of tools and things, I can put it all in the back there, out of the way, and it doesn't matter if it's a bit muddy, just chuck it in, and that's it. So, and I keep all the van stuff too, like the thermal blinds for the front. So, moving on, behind this silver sliding door, we have the bathroom, which I think estate agents would call bijou. It's actually, although it might be bijou, it's actually a decent size considering the size of the van. You've got a removable tap here, which basically means you can turn it on. You can shower with it. You've got a loo, which you can swivel around to sit on, and electric kind of flush, which basically just pushes water down, and it goes down into this cassette, which is you can access from the outside. And it's all actually fairly easy to do. It's not kind of too disgusting. And then you've got a cupboard here to put all my bits and bobs. That orange piece is again to stop it rattling when you're driving. You've got a skylight. And also, in fact, what's handy is I've got a hook here which I put up, and because there's a heating element in here, or a heating vent, if I'm basically get a coat which is really wet or want to dry things, I can shut the sliding door and hang the coat up, or whatever clothing it is that's wet, and it'll dry really quick. And I say with the vent open, all the sort of moisture goes up, so that's really, really neat. As for the lighting in the van, I've got quite a sort of selection of LEDs and strip lighting, so I can have it as sort of bright or as dark as I want. And also there's some rather funky blue lights which have been installed, and they apparently don't attract the insects at night when you've got the doors open. However, I don't know whether the insects are going to follow that rule or not. We will see. So one really important thing to me with this van was to have a really good power supply, because I have a lot of gadgets and laptops, my drone, rechargeable batteries, you name it, I seem to have it. And when I'm off-grid, which is what I want to be most of the time, I want to be able to have a decent power supply to charge all these things. So what I've got is I have three 110 leisure batteries, which are kept under the bed along with all the other electrics. And these basically are charged either by the alternator from the engine when I'm driving, obviously, or by hookup if I'm on a campsite. And also I have on the roof, I have a 150 monocrystalline solar panel, which is a pretty powerful one, because it combined with this, it's called a regulator, which is an MTTP regulator. That basically means that I can get, on a really good sunny day, about 50 amps going into the batteries, which will charge them up comparatively quickly. And even actually, I've been testing it, and even on a kind of winter's day, I do get some decent charge coming into the batteries, so that is excellent. In terms of actually charging the gadgets, I've got installed throughout the van sockets. I've got either the USB sockets and also the cigarette lighter sockets, which I can plug in. They're good for my drone. And also I have some 3-pin sockets, which are 240 volt. These can either run off, again, the mains if I'm hooked up, or I have an inverter which I can use, so I can actually, it's mainly for charging my laptop. I can use it off-grid, but the inverter's not as efficient as kind of running it straight off the leisure battery. I mean, it does come off the leisure battery, but via the inverter, if that makes sense. In terms of heating, I've got a Truma combi boiler. The combi boiler is, again, kept under the bed, and basically that is run off gas if I'm off-grid, and it's off electric if I choose to when I'm on hookup. It's an incredibly efficient boiler. It's so warm in here. But the warmth is also partly due to the fact that I've got, basically Darren's completely insulated the van fully. I mean, the ceilings, the floor, the sides, everything is fully insulated. So it really is good heat retention. I've also got double glazed windows, and at night time I can pull the blinds up, which are also insulated. So yeah, it's definitely warmer than my house. So this van doesn't have removable gas cylinders, which you can sort of swap over in garages. What it has is an underslung gas tank, an LPG gas tank, which is, I think, 25 kilograms, which holds about 18 litres of gas. And it's fantastic because actually there's loads of auto gas garages all over the country, and you just basically go along and fill it up like you fill up petrol, and it lasts a long time, I have to say. So that's the gas supply basically. And in terms of water, I've got a baffled water tank, which I think is 78 litres, and that's also underslung. And it's baffled so that when I'm driving along and brake or accelerate, it doesn't sort of sloosh forward and make the van off balance. And what else do I have? A grey water tank, so that's all my tap water goes into the grey water tank, or shower water, and that's also underslung. And both the grey water and the fresh water tanks underneath are kind of vulnerable to freezing. In this country, it'd have to be pretty blooming cold. But just in case, I've had 2 heating probes put in each one in each one, kind of like a fish tank heating element. And they are set so that they will come on if it goes down to, I think it's down to 3 degrees. They'll click on, and I've got an override button here. So I'm kind of covered for, hopefully, for the winter, because I intend to be out basically as much as possible in this, come winter, come rain, come shine, every possible weather. So folks, I think that's a wrap in terms of the tour of this van. It's been fairly extensive. I probably left some important features out, but never mind. And I just want to say how super excited I am. This van is just a dream. I've been dreaming about having this sort of van for years and years, and it's finally happened. And I cannot wait to get out and explore the UK, to do more wild camping, although Skye is quite old and doesn't really enjoy wild camping anymore, so I'll have to restrict that to the summer, I think. And do my bushcraft stuff, do trekking, do more photography, hopefully meet up with some people, and have it all, you know, video as much as I can of it, and just wow, you know, what an opportunity I have, and yeah, wow. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll put some videos, or just I got some clips of kind of the progress of this being renovated over the last 6 months, and I'll just put them in and see if, you know, you might be interested in seeing how it was developed. And yeah, so until next time, as I say, thanks for watching, and see you again soon. Bye for now.